Captain Ryan Hayes stepped off the small shuttle and onto the surface of Arlithia. The air here was thick with a light golden glow, and the sky shimmered with colors that seemed to move like waves. He had traveled across light years, expecting strange landscapes, but nothing could have prepared him for the living beauty of this world. Trees with translucent leaves stretched high into the sky, and streams of crystal-clear water wound around smooth rocks like silver ribbons. Ryan's boots sank slightly into the soft moss beneath his feet. Every step made a gentle hum, almost like the planet itself was acknowledging his presence. He adjusted the strap of his satchel and scanned the area. Ahead, a group of Elythians was waiting. They were tall, slender, and elegant, with skin that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Their eyes were large and deep, reflecting intelligence and wisdom. The Elythians moved gracefully, and Ryan realized immediately that he was walking into a culture unlike anything he had known. At the front of the group stood a woman taller than the others, her presence commanding attention without a word. Her bioluminescent markings ran down her arms and face in patterns that shifted softly, like living art. This was Queen Liara, the ruler of the Elythians. Ryan straightened, aware of the weight of history on his shoulders. Humans had never visited this planet before, and now he was tasked with building a bridge between his people and a civilization that had existed peacefully for centuries. "Captain Hayes," Queen Liara said in a voice that was soft yet firm, "welcome to Arlithia. Your journey was long, I am sure." Ryan bowed slightly, feeling the difference in customs immediately. "Thank you, Your Majesty. It is an honor to be here." She inclined her head, her gaze lingering on him for a moment longer than expected. Ryan felt a strange sense of awareness, as if she could see everything about him. She was beautiful, yes, but there was something else, a depth of emotion, a wisdom, and an unspoken sorrow. "Your people come with messages of peace," Liara continued, "but you arrive at a time of great uncertainty. The Varkari grow bolder each day. They threaten more than just our lands. They threaten our young, our future." Ryan nodded. He had read reports about the Varkari before leaving Earth. A warlike alien race, brutal and cunning. Their tactics were unpredictable. Yet he had never imagined he would meet them halfway across the galaxy. "Peace is our goal," Ryan said. "But if there is danger, I will help defend your people." Liara's eyes softened slightly. "You are brave, human. Bravery is rare, but courage is only valuable when guided by wisdom." Before Ryan could respond, an alarm sounded across the Elythian city. A series of glowing signals streaked across the sky. Varkari scouts approaching. The Elythians moved quickly, their movements fluid and precise. Ryan's training kicked in. He followed their lead, observing and learning. "Captain Hayes," Liara said quietly as they moved, "I must ask you something unusual. Will you listen carefully?" Ryan glanced at her. There was a softness in her voice now, almost a whisper. "Of course." "You will be the guardian of my children, human," she said softly, leaning close so only he could hear. "Our young. They are our most precious treasure. You may not understand their ways, their abilities, or their needs, but I trust you to protect them. No one else can. If the Varkari succeed, our future is lost. Do you accept this responsibility?" Ryan's heart raced. Protect the children? This was not what he had expected when he boarded the shuttle from Earth. Yet, looking into Liara's eyes, he saw no hesitation, no doubt, only trust. I will do everything I can," he said, his voice steady even as uncertainty flickered in his mind. "I will protect them." Liara's bioluminescent markings shimmered softly, almost like a smile. "Then you must move quickly. The Varkari are near. You must gather the children and bring them to safety." Ryan nodded. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. He had protected civilians during conflicts on Earth, but these were alien children. Their biology, their abilities, even their ways of thinking were different from anything he had known. Still, he could not refuse. He would not. He followed the Alithian guardians through winding pathways made of living vines and glowing stone. Every corner revealed a new wonder, flowers that hummed in harmony, small flying creatures that shimmered like tiny stars, and streams of light that moved like water. Ryan barely had time to notice beauty. His mind was focused entirely on the task ahead. Finally, they reached a clearing where the children were gathered. They were unlike any human child Ryan had ever seen. Their skin glowed softly, their eyes were wide with curiosity, and small bioluminescent patterns flickered on their bodies as if reflecting their emotions. Some hovered slightly above the ground, moving with gentle grace. "Children," Liara said, her voice calm but commanding, "Captain Hayes will guide you. Listen to him, trust him, and he will keep you safe." The children stared at Ryan with mixed emotions, some with curiosity, some with fear, others with mischief in their glowing eyes. One small girl stepped forward, her skin patterned with a bright silver marking. "Will you protect us?" she asked quietly. Ryan knelt to meet her gaze. "I will," he said. "I promise. No harm will come to you as long as I can stop it." The girl's eyes widened, and she nodded slowly. Another boy, hovering slightly above the ground, whispered, "Even if the sky burns?" Ryan smiled gently. "Even if the sky burns," he said. They began moving quickly through the dense forests, guided by the Alithian guardians. Ryan had to adapt immediately to the children's abilities. Some could sense danger before it arrived, others could move silently over uneven ground, and one even seemed to communicate through flickers of light. Ryan realized he could not treat them like human children. He had to learn their strengths and weaknesses quickly. The forest was alive with sounds, soft chimes, rustling leaves, and distant echoes. Suddenly a loud crack shattered the calm. A Varkari scout had spotted them, its armor dark and jagged against the glowing foliage. The children froze for a moment, but Ryan's voice cut through their fear. "Move! Follow my lead!" He grabbed the hand of the nearest child and sprinted forward, dodging glowing projectiles fired by the scout. The children instinctively followed, weaving and dodging in ways Ryan had to watch carefully. One misstep could be fatal, but they moved with a strange precision that he could not have predicted. After several tense minutes, they reached a hidden cave, its entrance concealed by hanging vines and glowing moss. Ryan ushered the children inside, checking each one to ensure no one was missing. Breathless but determined, he turned to them. "You're safe." "For now," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "We have to stay quiet until the danger passes. Can you do that?" The children nodded, though their glowing eyes betrayed their lingering fear. Ryan took a deep breath, realizing that this was only the beginning. Protecting them would not be easy. Every step forward would bring danger, and the Varkari would not give up. But as he looked at their trusting faces, he felt something stir within him. A sense of purpose, stronger than any mission he had ever undertaken. Outside, the sounds of pursuit grew fainter. But Ryan knew this was only temporary. The Varkari were relentless, and they had not given up. He would need to think quickly, act bravely, and trust the instincts that had kept him alive on Earth. And now, he had a new responsibility, one that went beyond duty or orders. He was the guardian of these children, the hope for the future of an entire species. As night fell over Arlithia, the golden glow of the sky casting long shadows in the cave, Ryan stood watch. The Alithian children slept quietly around him, their small forms glowing faintly. He remembered Liara's words, whispered softly in his ear, You will be the guardian of my children, human. He made a silent promise to himself and to them. He would not fail. Not now, not ever. And so, on this strange and beautiful world, a human soldier began a journey unlike any he had ever imagined. A journey that would test courage, wisdom, and the true strength of the human spirit. The morning light on Arlithia filtered softly through the translucent leaves, casting patterns of gold and green across the forest floor. Captain Ryan Hayes stood outside the hidden cave, watching the Alithian children awaken. Their small forms shimmered faintly in the dawn, eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. Today would be the first real test of their survival, and Ryan knew it would challenge both him and them. The children gathered around him, their glowing markings flickering with excitement. Tilia, the clever girl with silver patterns, stepped forward. "What will we do today, Guardian?" she asked, her voice soft but confident. Ryan crouched to meet her gaze. "Today, we learn to move quietly, watch the forest, and understand danger before it reaches us. You are strong, but you must also be smart. We cannot only react, we must think ahead." The children nodded, though Aaron, the shy boy who had clung to Ryan the night before, hesitated. Ryan placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "I will not leave your side, Aaron. Trust me, and you will be safe." They began their exercises by walking through the forest, silent and careful. Ryan showed them how to step lightly on moss and avoid dry leaves that could crack underfoot. The children adapted quickly, their natural abilities giving them advantages humans could only dream of. Some hovered slightly above the ground, moving silently over rocks and roots. Others could sense subtle changes in the wind or the shift of shadows, alerting the group to potential threats. Ryan observed them closely, making mental notes of their strengths and weaknesses. Tilia was quick thinking, often spotting hidden details before anyone else. Aaron, though timid, had an instinctive understanding of danger, freezing or ducking moments before a threat appeared. The others each had their unique skills, and Ryan realized that if he could teach them strategy and discipline, they could survive anything. "Good," Ryan said, stopping to point toward a cluster of glowing flowers. "These flowers look harmless, but they can release spores that make it hard to breathe. If you step near them without noticing, it could slow you down. See them? Learn their patterns, their dangers." The children nodded, examining the flowers carefully. Tilia flicked a silver-marked finger at one, causing it to shimmer. "Like this?" she asked. Ryan smiled. "Exactly. Always pay attention to your surroundings. Your eyes, ears, and instincts are your first weapons." Their training continued, moving from simple observation to evasive maneuvers. Ryan demonstrated how to hide behind natural cover, use shadows for protection, and move in unpredictable patterns. The children mirrored him, their movements graceful yet precise. But practice was interrupted by a distant noise, a low hum that grew steadily louder. Ryan's heart quickened. He recognized the pattern. The Varkari were near, testing their defenses. "Stay close," Ryan commanded. "Follow me and remember everything we practiced." The group moved deeper into the forest, weaving between glowing trees and over smooth rocks. The hum of the approaching Varkari grew louder, punctuated by sharp metallic clinks. Ryan signaled for the children to split into small groups, using the terrain to their advantage. Some children hid in low-hanging vines, while others hovered silently above the ground, watching the Varkari pass. Ryan waited until the enemy was within range, then used a combination of hand signals and whispered instructions to guide the children through a clever ambush. Branches snapped, rocks tumbled, and shadows shifted. The Varkari, momentarily confused, stumbled over the traps Ryan had set. The children followed his lead perfectly, their unique abilities amplifying the effectiveness of the defense. When the threat passed, Ryan gathered them together. "Well done," he said. You all stayed calm and used what we learned. That is how we survive. Always remember, panic is the enemy, not the Varkari. The children's glowing markings flickered with pride. Tilia smiled, stepping close to Ryan. I think I understand now. You're not just protecting us. You're teaching us to protect ourselves too. Ryan nodded. Exactly. My job is to keep you safe, but yours is to learn and grow stronger every day. If we work together, we can face anything. The afternoon brought new challenges. Ryan introduced the children to navigation techniques, teaching them how to read the stars and the subtle shifts in Arlithia's light. They practiced tracking small animals, identifying safe plants to eat, and recognizing signs of approaching danger. Each lesson built their confidence and trust in Ryan, while also reinforcing the skills they would need to survive independently. During a brief rest by a sparkling stream, Ryan noticed Tilia examining him closely. "Guardian," she said, "why do humans fight even when it seems impossible? Why do you risk your life for strangers?" Ryan considered her question carefully. "Because we believe in something greater than ourselves," he said. "We believe in protecting others, even when it's hard. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to act despite it." The children seemed to absorb his words, their markings glowing softly as if acknowledging the lesson. Aaron, usually quiet, spoke for the first time. "I want to be brave like you," he said softly. Ryan smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You already are, Aaron. Bravery isn't just fighting. It's learning, helping, and caring for others. That is what makes you strong." As the sun began to set, a sudden movement caught Ryan's eye. A small Varkari scout had slipped past their defenses, sneaking toward the children. Ryan acted immediately, grabbing Aaron and pulling him behind a tree. He drew a small stun device from his pack, ready to defend the children. The scout lunged, but Ryan's quick reflexes and the children's newfound skills turned the encounter into a coordinated defense. Tilia created a blinding flicker of light, confusing the scout, while Aaron guided another child to block the path. Ryan disabled the Varkari device with a precise strike, ending the threat. Breathing heavily, Ryan looked at the children. They were shaken but unharmed. "See?" he said. "Even when danger surprises us, we use our skills, our minds, and our teamwork to survive. That is the lesson of today." That night, as they settled into the hidden cave, Ryan felt a new sense of purpose. The Alithian children trusted him, and he had begun to understand their world. It was not enough to protect them physically. He had to teach them, guide them, and inspire them. Only then could they survive the Varkari threat and carry the future of their species. Queen Liara appeared briefly at the cave entrance, her glowing presence serene. She studied Ryan and the children, her expression unreadable. "You are doing well," she said softly. "But remember, the greatest trials are yet to come. The Varkari will not stop. They will test your courage, human. And they will test the children." Ryan bowed respectfully. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will be ready." Liara's gaze softened, and she stepped closer. For a moment, her bioluminescent markings pulsed gently, a silent sign of gratitude. "They are learning because of you," she said, "because you see value in them, because you see them as beings worth protecting. That is rare among humans." Ryan felt a quiet warmth at her words, but he did not allow himself to relax. He knew this was just the beginning. The Varkari were patient, cunning, and relentless. Today had been a small victory, but tomorrow could bring a greater challenge. As the children slept, their soft glow casting gentle light around the cave, Ryan kept watch. He studied the forest outside, listening for any sign of movement. His mind was alive with strategy, but also with a strange feeling of connection. These children were not just Alithians, they were a part of something larger, and he was a part of them. He remembered Liara's words from the first night. "You will be the guardian of my children, human." At first he had been overwhelmed by the responsibility. Now he understood what it truly meant. It was more than protection. It was guidance, teaching, courage, and trust. And Ryan Hayes was ready to do whatever it took. The night on Arlithia was calm, but Ryan knew that soon the forest would echo again with the hum of approaching enemies. When that time came, he and the children would be ready. Together, they would face every danger, learn from every trial, and prove that courage, intelligence, and determination, qualities of humanity, could shine even in the darkest hours. The journey of protection had only just begun, and Ryan felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. No matter what the Varkari did, no matter how many challenges arose, he would not fail. He would train, teach, and fight. He would become more than a guardian. He would become a beacon of hope for the Alithian children, and for the future of Arlithia itself. The sun had barely risen over Arlithia when Ryan Hayes felt it, a deep vibration through the ground, low and steady, unlike anything he had felt before. His heart tightened. The Varkari were coming, and this time it was not just a scout. This was a full-scale assault. He gathered the children and the Alithian guardians in the clearing near the hidden cave. The children, now more confident and skilled after days of training, stood close to him. Tilia's silver markings glowed brightly as she scanned the surrounding forest, and even shy Aaron had a determined look in his eyes. They had grown in courage and trust, and Ryan knew he would need every bit of their strength today. "Listen carefully," Ryan said, lowering his voice so only the children could hear. "The Varkari are strong, but they are predictable if you think ahead. Use the forest to your advantage. Remember what we practiced. Shadows, silence, and clever movement are our weapons." The Alithian guardians nodded, their own confidence bolstered by Ryan's leadership. He had become not just a protector, but a strategist. Their combined knowledge, human tactics, and Alithian skills was formidable. As the first Varkari ships appeared over the forest, dark and jagged against the glowing Arlithian sky, Ryan moved quickly. "Positions! Spread out! Use the traps we prepared!" The forest seemed alive with activity. Alithian children darted silently between the trees, using their hovering abilities and quick reflexes to set up distractions. Ryan watched with pride as Tilia created flickers of light to confuse the Varkari, and Aaron signaled other children to alert the group of approaching soldiers. Even the smallest among them contributed, their unique talents multiplying the effectiveness of their defense. The Varkari landed in force, their heavy armor clanking against the forest floor. They moved with confidence, but Ryan had planned for that. Using natural cover, he guided the children to ambush points where rocks could be toppled, vines could ensnare, and flashing light patterns could disorient the enemy. The battle began in a chaotic flurry of movement. Varkari soldiers stumbled through traps, and the Alithian children used their agility to dart in and out of shadows, distracting the attackers. Ryan engaged a small group of soldiers directly, using his strength, speed, and precise strikes to neutralize them before they could harm the children. At one point, a Varkari commander broke through the defenses, heading straight for the group. Ryan's heart pounded. This was the real test. "Tilia, block his path with your light. Aaron, guide the others behind cover," he shouted. The children moved instantly, following his instructions flawlessly. Tilia's silver markings glared brightly, creating a dazzling flash that temporarily blinded the commander. Ryan seized the moment, tackling the Varkari and disarming him. The remaining soldiers hesitated, giving the Alithians a chance to regroup. Ryan felt a surge of relief, but he knew this was only the beginning. The Varkari were relentless, and more forces could arrive at any moment. He turned to the children. "Stay sharp! Keep moving! Every second counts. Hours passed in a tense dance of strategy and survival. Ryan directed the children to use the forest's natural features to their advantage. Fallen logs became barriers, glowing moss was used to create misleading trails, and streams masked their movements. Each child had a role, and they executed it with precision. During a brief lull, Ryan took a moment to observe them. The children were no longer scared or uncertain. They were confident, capable, and brave. Their trust in him had transformed into skill and courage. He felt a deep pride, knowing that his human experience had taught them how to survive, and their unique abilities had taught him new ways to fight and protect. But the Varkari were cunning. A hidden squad had flanked their position, attempting to capture one of the children. Ryan reacted instantly, sprinting across the forest floor and calling out commands. "Tilia, distract them! Aaron, pull the others back!" The children moved with perfect timing. Tilia created a blinding flicker, and Aaron guided the younger ones to safety. Ryan intercepted the Varkari soldiers, using his speed and agility to disable them. In the chaos, one child, a small boy named Leor, stumbled. Ryan caught him just in time, lifting him to safety. "Guardian," Leor whispered, his glowing markings flickering with fear. "You're safe," Ryan said firmly, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "I've got you. Always remember, I'm here." The Varkari realized their attack was failing. Their formations were disrupted, their soldiers confused and disoriented. Ryan saw his chance. He led a counterattack, combining Alithian tactics with human strategy. The children acted as scouts and distractions, while the Alithian guardians struck with precision. Ryan used the terrain to funnel the Varkari into traps, forcing them to retreat. By late afternoon, the forest was quiet again, save for the distant echoes of the retreating Varkari. The children gathered around Ryan, exhausted but victorious. Tilia's markings shimmered brightly, a sign of pride and accomplishment. Aaron looked at Ryan, admiration and relief in his eyes. You led us," Tilia said softly. "Even when it was dangerous, you never stopped. How did you do it?" Ryan smiled, kneeling to meet her gaze. "I didn't do it alone. You all helped, and you all used what you learned. Courage isn't just about fighting, it's about thinking, acting, and working together. That's why we survived today." The children nodded, understanding more than words could express. They had learned to trust themselves, each other, and their human guardian. As night fell, Queen Liara arrived. Her presence was calm and commanding, yet there was an unmistakable warmth in her gaze as she looked at Ryan and the children. "You have done more than protect my children today," she said softly. "You have taught them to be brave, to think, and to trust. You have shown them the spirit of humanity, and in doing so, you have changed the future of our Lithia." Ryan felt a quiet pride, but also a renewed sense of responsibility. The battle was over, but the war was not. The Varkari would return, stronger and more cunning, and he would need to continue teaching, guiding, and protecting the children. Liara approached the children, placing a hand on Tilia's shoulder. "You have learned well," she said. "The human has not only protected you, but has shown you the strength of courage and wisdom combined. Remember this lesson. It is more valuable than any weapon." Ryan watched silently as the Alithian children absorbed her words. They were no longer just wards in his care. They were partners in survival, students of courage, and a living testament to what humanity could offer even across the stars. Later, as the children slept under the soft glow of Arlithia's trees, Ryan remained vigilant. The Varkari had tested them today, but he knew they would return. He thought about the lessons he had taught and the skills the children had learned. He felt a quiet determination. The trials of today had proven that with courage, intelligence, and teamwork, humans and Alithians together could face any threat. He remembered the first night when Queen Liara had whispered to him, "You will be the guardian of my children, human." That whisper had carried a weight of trust and expectation. Now, after the trials of today, Ryan understood fully what it meant. It was not just about protection. It was about mentorship, guidance, courage, and trust. It was about shaping the future, one small step at a time. Ryan leaned back against a tree, exhausted but focused. The glow of the children's markings illuminated the night, gentle and steady. He knew that the battles ahead would be greater, but so would their preparedness. The children had grown stronger, and Ryan had grown alongside them. Together, they were no longer vulnerable. They were capable, clever, and brave. And as the forest of Arlithia hummed softly in the night, Ryan Hayes made a promise, not only to Queen Liara, but to himself and to the children. He would continue to teach, to protect, and to guide. No matter the danger, no matter the enemy, he would not fail. Humanity's courage and ingenuity had brought them this far, and it would carry them through whatever trials lay ahead. The war for Arlithia was not yet over, but the seeds of hope and strength had been sown. And in those seeds, Ryan saw a future where humans and Alithians could stand together, unbreakable and unyielding against any threat. The morning on Arlithia was calm, almost unnaturally so. The forest seemed to breathe quietly, as though it were recovering from the chaos of the Varkari attack. Captain Ryan Hayes stood at the edge of the clearing, watching the Alithian children move about, their glowing markings now steady and bright. Today was not a day of battle, but one of reflection and understanding. The previous days had tested them all, children and guardian alike, but they had survived. More than that, they had grown. Ryan had watched Telia become clever and fearless, guiding her younger peers. Aaron, once timid, now stood tall, ready to act without hesitation. The others had learned to trust their instincts and their human mentor. The bond between them had become unbreakable. Queen Liara appeared quietly, her presence glowing softly in the morning light. She approached Ryan without ceremony, her eyes warm yet deep with meaning. "You have done more than I imagined," she said softly. "Not only have you protected them, but you have taught them courage, wisdom, and hope. You have become part of our family, human." Ryan bowed slightly, feeling the weight of her words. "I did only what I had to," he said humbly. "They are strong, and they wanted to learn. I only guided them." Liara smiled, a quiet glow running through her markings. "That is true. But guidance is what shapes the future. And today, you have shaped it." The Alithian children gathered around, their glowing eyes bright and full of trust. Telia stepped forward, her voice confident. "Guardian, will you stay with us? Will you continue to teach and protect us?" Ryan knelt, placing his hands gently on her shoulders. "I will," he promised. "I will stay as long as you need me. And even if danger comes again, I will be here." Liara watched this exchange, her gaze softening even more. It is rare among humans to offer such loyalty, courage, and patience. You have proven that your kind is capable of more than we imagined. The day was spent in preparation for the future. Ryan worked alongside the Alithians to strengthen their defenses, not just with traps and strategy, but with knowledge. He taught them methods of observation, warning signals, and teamwork. The children practiced their abilities under his guidance, learning how to move silently, communicate subtly, and act together in unison. Every skill they mastered reinforced their independence while still strengthening the bond with their human guardian. By afternoon, the forest was alive with the sounds of laughter, training, and learning. The children moved with grace and confidence, no longer afraid of the dangers that lurked outside their forest. Ryan watched with pride, realizing that he had not just protected them, he had empowered them. But Ryan knew this peace might not last. The Varkari could return at any time. He decided to take proactive measures. "We cannot wait for danger to find us," he told Liara and the Alithian guardians. "We must be ready for anything. That means constant vigilance and planning for every possible scenario." Liara nodded. "You are wise, human. Your mind works in ways that complement ours. We will listen and follow your guidance as long as you continue to teach." Night fell over Arlithia, the forest glowing softly under a sky filled with shifting colors. Ryan walked among the children, observing their glowing forms as they practiced what they had learned. He noticed Tilia teaching a younger child how to use light signals, and Aaron guiding another in moving silently through the underbrush. Their growth amazed him. They were no longer just students. They were capable, confident, and courageous. He paused near a stream, its waters reflecting the stars above. His thoughts turned to the journey that had brought him here. From a human soldier traveling across the galaxy to a guardian entrusted with the future of an alien species. The responsibility had been immense and at times overwhelming. But it had also given him a sense of purpose he had never known. Protecting others, teaching them, and inspiring courage had become more than a duty. It had become a part of who he was. Liara appeared beside him, her presence quiet and steady. "You have exceeded all expectations," she said softly. "The children are safe because of you, and their future is brighter because of what you have taught them. There is a trust between humans and Alithians now that cannot be broken." Ryan turned to her, a quiet smile on his face. "I only did what I felt was right. They are strong, and I believed in them. That is what made it possible." Liara's gaze softened. "That is the essence of humanity, Ryan. Courage, loyalty, and the willingness to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Today, you have proven that these qualities can cross the stars and touch even the most distant worlds." As the night deepened, Ryan returned to the cave where the children were sleeping. He watched them for a moment, their glowing forms peaceful and calm. He felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. They had survived battles, learned new skills, and grown in confidence. And through it all, he had been there, not just as a soldier, but as a teacher, mentor, and guardian. He sat down outside the cave, gazing at the stars above. The Varkari threat still lingered in the distance, but for the first time, Ryan felt a sense of hope. The children were ready for whatever challenges might come. And he, a human far from his home planet, had found a place where his courage and knowledge made a difference beyond imagination. The next morning brought new responsibilities. Ryan and the children ventured into the forest, practicing their skills and reinforcing their teamwork. Tilia led the group with confidence, her cleverness a reflection of the lessons Ryan had taught her. Aaron followed closely, strong and assured. Even the youngest children moved with awareness and caution, proving that they had learned quickly under his guidance. As they reached a high cliff overlooking the forest, Ryan paused to address them. "Look around you," he said. "This forest, this planet, it is beautiful and fragile. You are its guardians now, just as I am yours. Remember what you have learned, trust in yourselves, and trust in each other. You are capable of more than you realize." The children nodded, their glowing markings bright with determination. Ryan smiled, knowing that they understood more than words could convey. They had learned not only survival, but responsibility, courage, and the importance of protecting the future. Later that day, Queen Liara visited once more. She watched the children in action, observing their movements, their coordination, and their confidence. Turning to Ryan, she spoke with quiet reverence. "You have done what no one else could. You have become part of our history, human. The children will remember you not just as a protector, but as a teacher, a mentor, and a symbol of hope. Ryan bowed, feeling a sense of humility. "I only wanted to help," he said softly. "The children made it possible. Their courage and willingness to learn made all the difference." Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. "And that is why you were chosen. Courage and wisdom often appear in unexpected forms. You have proven that humanity's spirit can shine across the stars. For that, you have my gratitude and the trust of every Alithian child you protect." As the sun set over Arlithia, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet, Ryan stood with the children. They laughed and trained, their glow bright and steady. He realized that this bond between human and Alithian was more than duty. It was trust, friendship, and hope. Together, they had faced danger, learned from it, and emerged stronger. Queen Liara's voice came softly from behind him. "You will always be the guardian of my children, human. And in doing so, you have shown that courage, loyalty, and wisdom are universal qualities, worthy of every world." Ryan looked at her and then at the children, his heart swelling with quiet pride. "I will not fail," he said firmly. "As long as I live, I will protect them, teach them, and guide them. That is my promise." The Alithian children gathered around him, their glow reflecting trust and hope. For the first time, Ryan truly felt at home, not on Earth, not in the military, but here, among the people he had protected and taught. He was a guardian, a teacher, and a friend. And in that moment, under the glowing trees of Arlithia and the shimmering sky above, a human soldier had become more than a protector. He had become a symbol of hope, a bridge between worlds, and a shining example of humanity's greatest qualities. The future of Arlithia was secure, not just because of strength or skill, but because of courage, wisdom, and the bond between human and Ilithian. Ryan knew that challenges might come again, but he also knew that together they could face anything. And as he watched the children laughing and training, their glow bright in the evening light, he whispered softly to himself, "I am ready. I will always be their guardian." Arlithia was safe for now, but more importantly, its future was bright. Guided by the courage of a human far from home and the trust of children who had learned to believe in themselves.